In this demo, we'll see how to use XPath to extract some data from XML using Bot Framework Composer. So before we dig into the chatbot dialogues, I'll just show you the XML that we're dealing with. And what we've got here is a people node in XML, and then within this node we've got a couple of person records. Nothing too fancy going on here. So each person has an ID and a name, and we've only got two. So we'll jump out this XML that we're going to be working with into Bot Framework Composer, and here we're in the designer canvas. Okay, so the first thing that we're doing is loading in that XML that we just seen in Notepad++. We're loading that into this variable here, dialog XML data. We then ask the user what name do they want to search for, and we'll just fix that typo. We then capture the information in a dialog scope variable name called username. And then down here, this is where the XPath query gets run here. So we run an XPath query, and I won't expand all that because it'll be hard to read, but we run this XPath query using the raw XML metadata as the first parameter, and then the second part here is the XPath query. So we're digging into the root level node, which is people. We're looking for a person, but we want to match a particular person based on the username parameter. So that's what we can see happening along here and along here. And we then concatenate the string. We pick off the first item, and then we take the ID. And then the final thing that we do is output that information into an activity. So just a quick recap, we load in the XML data, we prompt the user for a name that they want to search, we store that parameter in a variable called dialog username, we run the XPath query, and then we output that into the chat window. So we'll start the bot, and we will test in here. We'll restart the conversation. We'll say Bob, and then we get the XML data, and then the square brackets indicate that we're dealing with an object structure, and then we can see that we've got the ID node for Bob. We can pull Notepad++ over, and we can see Bob does have an ID of 2. So that was just a quick demo of using XML, XPath within the context of Bot Framework Composer. Under the hood, it's using something called adaptive expressions. I've got a link to that in the accompanying blog for this video. Within adaptive expressions, you can do a whole ton of stuff, such as parsing JSON, converting XML to JSON, running Boolean logic and calculations. So I would encourage you to check that out. Okay.